Let's go.
Thanks everyone for joining. We're really lucky to have Josh Squire here, who is a founding contributor of the Micromobility DAO. And for those of you who don't know, DAO is a Decentralized Autonomous Organization, and it's kind of been a big talking point within the Web3 world. And we're grateful to have Josh here to talk about why decentralized autonomous organizations are a really exciting proposal for the industry, where you might have a member-owned community that is sort of designed to promote new initiatives and vote on policies for the micromobility industry through sort of a decentralized fund that's managed. So I can't wait to hear from Josh about this proposal, and I'll jump in towards the end just to wrap things up, but it's all yours, Josh. Thanks for being here.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining Micromobility DAO session. My name is Josh Squire, the founder and CEO of Hopper. I'm based in Miami, which is also known as the crypto capital of the world. Quick mention before I start, the Micromobility DAO is not associated at this time with Micromobility Industries. We just share the same name, and I would like to thank the micromobility industry team for the opportunity to present here today. And I also want to thank the early contributors and experts who joined our Discord, had meetings with me and calls, and are helping shape the Micromobility DAO. Okay, so as you mentioned, what is a DAO? A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It's an entity that, here, now you can see it, I guess. It's an entity with no central leadership and collectively owned and managed. DAOs operate based on logic written into smart contracts, which is a fancy word for software code. And that code automatically executes when a set of criteria are met. Participants in a DAO, well, the DAO blocks actually include three major main components: participants, governance, and smart contracts. And basically, the participants are typically members and contributors. The governance part is proposals and the voting on those proposals. And then the smart contracts are basically, they automatically execute, and the transactions are recorded on the blockchain, which is fully transparent, and anyone could audit them. So DAOs have been around for some time now, and there are some DAO platforms or software out there that helps create the DAO, and in those platforms, you could create the governance, assign the tokens, manage the treasury, submit proposals, and vote. So you don't need to create it from scratch necessarily. So let's talk a little bit about the Micromobility DAO and what our mission is. So our mission is to support and encourage the use of micromobility vehicles to improve the quality of life in cities and preserve our planet. There's four major components to the DAO. One is the governance, the other is the token, foundation, and blockchain. I'm going to go through each one of those. So let's start with the governance. We talked a little bit about how DAOs are structured. And so who could join a DAO? Pretty much any individual or organization that holds a micromobility token in their digital wallet are automatically members of the DAO. And so any person or company, organization who wants to participate could participate by purchasing tokens of the DAO. So the DAO can mint its own tokens, and the values of those tokens go up the more they're used by people and organizations. The more people hold them and use them, makes them more valuable. This is one of many reasons why our industry should adopt one token. So what can we do with, if we were to mint, let's say, 10 billion tokens, what can we do with them, and how would they be used? So they could be used, the four core functions of the micromobility token one is voting, the other is payments, and then they could be used for initiatives and then toll. Here are some ways that the token can be used. For example, for payment for rides, to subsidize rides, settlement of multimodal trips, incentives for good rider behavior, third-party sales like travel booking sites for rewards, employee transportation benefit, fintech lending and insurers, and also interactions with other blockchain protocols. So here's an example of multimodal trips and one way that could be used. So let's take the example of a transit pass. So you could purchase a monthly pass from the train or the bus company, and included in that, there is a transfer for a micromobility ride. And you use that for last mile trips taken. And then after that ride, the smart contract between the transit company and the micromobility provider is automatically settled, and the payment is settled as well automatically. That can be done in a similar way with rideshare robo-taxis as well. And you could get a monthly pass that includes, let's say, 500 minutes of micromobility rides. And for the trips under 2 miles that really rideshare and robo-taxi should not be serving, you could use that subscription to take micromobility, and that, again, through smart contracts, it could automatically settle payment and transfer of the token. Trip planner app, it could work in a similar way, and the one I like the most is a travel booking app, because they always offer after the flight and hotel to book a car rental. But what if you prefer not to rent a car? So in that case, why not book micromobility rides, and they transfer tokens to your digital wallet that you could use then for the local provider and take them with you wherever else you go next. Another example of a way to use tokens is ride subsidies and incentives. So for equity, cities can encourage ridership among low-income residents. They could, to qualifying participants, they could transfer tokens. Employers could also provide tokens as part of their transit benefit and TDM. Cities could also use them for events, or event organizers could offer free rides via tokens with an expiration date. So to encourage the use of micromobility to get the event, but if you don't use it within that time period of the event, then it goes back to the organizer. And then campuses, which has always been very challenging. On one hand, it's the best demographic, very good demographic for micromobility, but the economics of it is quite challenging. And so if a university wants to subsidize micromobility rides for students, they could do that by including in the tuition, let's say 150 micromobility trips a month. And as part of the tuition, they could actually bill the students for the tokens. So this is a diagram of the token flow. So basically, again, if we were to mint 10 billion tokens and allocate them in different buckets, more details on that on the light paper, by the way. So customers can purchase tokens from operators, from crypto exchange, or they could receive them as incentives and rewards from partners. And then they could use those tokens to redeem the rides. The Micromobility DAO Foundation is a huge part of this of the Micromobility DAO, and I'm very excited about it. It has some amazing potential. So funding sources as part of the initial token offering. Our idea is to put aside 3.75 billion tokens, which is roughly 37.5% of all the tokens, and then put that aside for a foundation. And ongoing funding sources for the foundation could come from a small transaction fee when tokens are used for rides, and they could also come from staking the tokens that the foundation owns and earning interest on there. And then also from other sources like government, transit agencies, and donations. And what can we do with these in the foundation? So the impact, we could choose to, the DAO members could choose to put some money towards affordability and equity, towards infrastructure, which is really important for micromobility, for ridership incentives, safety programs, and workforce training, and other proposals that people, members of the DAO, can submit. So how does it work, like a foundation, a DAO foundation exactly? So basically, every quarter, we accept proposals, and they're evaluated by expert committee members, and then those proposals are submitted and presented to the members, and they vote on those proposals. The ones that are approved, they get funded, and then the funded proposals report back to the DAO and tell us all the great things they did with our funding. The next component I want to talk about is blockchain. So the key to Web 3.0 is decentralization and blockchain, and to participate, we need to create standards. Mobility Data and Open Mobility Foundation naturally can play a role with that. They've done some things in our industry already, like GPFS and MDS and other great things. And we could also collaborate with MOBI. MOBI is the Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative, and they've been doing some great work around automotive standards and emission tracking. So I urge you to check out MOBI when you have a chance. So what is the roadmap to building this DAO? So we're treating it as like a startup for now, and so we have a light paper, and that's going to become a white paper that actually has more details on functions of the governance of the DAO and the token distribution, etc. We're going to hire a core team after we get some feedback from potential DAO members, recruit advisors, and get some seed funding. And then we plan to set up the DAO, and the first part is to hire a dev team, build the DAO, and create the smart contracts and recruit members. And then we launch the token. And then bring on some partners and grow the community and continue development. And then we launch the foundation. So the Micromobility DAO could be a win-win for everybody in our industry, and for cities, for operators, for riders, partners, suppliers, for pretty much everyone. There are many ways you can participate. You could participate as a core team member, a contributor, advisor, member, or investor. And the best way to do that is to just ping me or join the Discord. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. That was amazing. I definitely am a kind of a newcomer to the Web3 world and DAOs more specifically. So this is really great that we kind of have this really huge opportunity for potentially building a more equitable way of shaping the future of the industry, rather than relying on tender processes, which can go on years and maybe aren't well tuned for what needs to change in the industry. So it's really great that you're kind of pushing this initiative, and we're really looking forward to what you do in the future. So with that, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today, and that seems to conclude Micromobility World, our second iteration. So we really appreciate you coming out, and for all the speakers, Josh included, for sharing all of their wisdom today. It's been a great moment for the industry, and I do hope you join us in June for Micromobility Europe in Amsterdam for much needed in-person experience for the industry. So thanks again, everyone, and thanks, Josh, and have a great rest of your evening.